it was just great conversation that I wouldn't normally have with anybody else. And I think therapy, coaching, counselling, whatever it might be, good conversation about these kind of topics that you wouldn't normally talk about is almost like therapeutic in itself.
Therapeutic, like it's there.
Yeah. Like I think we were saying the other day, or I was saying to you how this podcast has been a little bit therapeutic, because me and you have got into some topics that, you know, I don't normally speak about in my day-to-day life. Don't really have that kind of outlet where we get into some quite heavy topics. We speak about them at length. We really have to think about what we really feel about them.
Yes.
We have to kind of talk about it. So that's probably something that a lot of people, including us, before we started this, lacked in our life, was just that kind of deep, meaningful conversation about these topics that in itself is probably going to be super beneficial for most people. So
yeah, do you know what? I think that's how we started our first episode. I think the intro to our first episode is talking about us having these conversations.
Yeah,
because obviously we'd done it quite a lot before our actual first podcast episode. But everything you just said is so true. Like, I find it cathartic when I come here and talk to you. Sometimes it dawned on me like how much I don't speak, you know, throughout the rest of the week, or have in-depth conversations. I might have the odd one, but like I might speak here now tonight more than I might speak in the rest of my week combined. You know, and it is cathartic in a sense that like you said, you have to do self-reflecting. You have to look at yourself and think, how do you feel about certain topics? You have to do a bit of research, which gets you learning again and gets you like up and, you know, moving and motivated. And like this whole thing, it's gave me a bit of a drive. It's gave me objectives, gave me something to work towards. And even just speaking, like I like speaking, and you know, like working from home, I don't get to do that throughout the day. I'm pretty much I'm on my own, you know?
And it's like the depth of the conversation. Like I spend all week talking to people at work on the phone. I'm like on the phone probably 5 hours a day at the minute because of the project, but it's like there's no substance to it. You know what I mean, even like the small talk and that. When other than when we sit down to do this, do we go into the depth that we do, and the types of topics that are like they're important topics that you just wouldn't normally speak about. So yeah, it's good. Like if therapy and if counselling aren't really something you're wanting to do, if like coaching's not really on the table for you, maybe just finding a mate or a group, like a couple of your mates who would be open to this type of format, and just sitting down and seeing where it goes.
Yeah,
that in itself could be an option.
Exactly. Like just because we've lost that, I think, you know, through COVID and through growing up especially, is that we all become individuals in our own sort of way, and we all become, you know, we distance ourselves from other people, not out of a way that we want to, it's just how life starts panning out. So we lose that. So meeting up with someone, and we've all got issues, man. We're all going through, you know, so if it's something to do with your relationship, your family, everyone has something that they would love to just go and speak to someone about. And you know what? People are more susceptible to listening to you than you think.
Yeah.
So even if you don't want to rock up to therapy, just rock up to your mate's house. If you drive, go pick your mate up, go for a drive and speak, man, and they'll speak to you. And you like, we've become closer. Do you know what I mean? Your relationships become like better relationships,
deeper and like more meaningful,
like,
isn't it?
Yeah, like the only person I ever speak to like this is obviously completely different topic, but is my nan, and my relationship with her is solid. And that's because she's one of the only people like when I rock up to her house, she turns off the TV or turns the volume down and looks at me, man, and has nothing else, and she's so inquisitive and she asks me questions, and sometimes it's a lot to take, but it's questions and questions and questions and questions. But she does that because of how much she cares about me. Do you know what I mean? And how much she loves me, and like my relationship with her is like something I don't have. So
think how much more we've got to know each other, like really got to know each other in the 8-10 weeks we've been doing this. And prior to this 8 to 10 weeks, we'd known each other for 10-15. I don't even how long we'd known each other yet, but we've probably learned more about the real us in the last 10 weeks than we had in 10 years prior to that. So
that's so true. Yeah. Because we give our conversation structure as well. So like our time spent together is structured around like we're about to choose what we say. Where, you know, we were closer maybe like a lot of years ago.
Yeah.
But in between then and now,
yeah,
as
exactly.
life's just taking its toll, we
and
didn't
we've
have
had
that sort of
like
relationship.
deep, drunk conversations, and we knew like we both liked these topics and that, but we didn't get into it in like a real structured sober. Like sober's a big part, I think, where we're really trying to like figure it out together. So it's it's been a great experience.
It's been a class experience, and that's all it takes is meeting up and like just chatting. Like, it's so good. You learn a lot about yourself as well on the route down there, don't you?
Yeah, 100%.
So like, if therapy and that's scary, you don't want to do it, then even just speaking to someone, that's what the message we're trying to get across here, isn't it? That speaking to someone is like so important, man. It's good for your mental health more than I think. You take it for granted.
Yeah.
You take it for granted. You don't realise how much of a necessity it is
Exactly.
to be happy.
And I'd even say, like, even if you're not struggling with mental health, like, this is such a rewarding experience. There's so many benefits. Like, do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
1000%.
Yeah.
Just do it anyway. And I guess our other messages before we like head to the end and wrap